Dave Whittier with Ally Emergency Management, and welcome to the third video in our series on the operational planning process. For this video, we're going to take a look at stage one of the OPP, initiation. And remember from our first video, which was an overview, the initiation stage answers the question, what's happening? It's the trigger that starts the OPP. It's the alarm bell, if you will. Something's happened in your environment. The situation has changed enough that you either don't have a plan to cover it or your existing plans don't work. So you need to be modified or new plans need to be produced. The initial assessment made during the initiation phase provides the first indication of how much time will be available for planners. Will the planning be deliberate? Do you have a couple of weeks to put this together? Or is it going to be a rapid response? Get everyone in a room, lock the door, and all hands on deck until you've come up with a solution. The end state for initiation is when the team is focused on the problem and ready to begin planning. Now, obviously, there's some other stuff that has to happen before we get to that point, and that's why we're here. So there's a few different ways in which the initiation of an operational planning cycle can occur. One is you get told by your boss to do it. Hey, Dave, got a problem? Got to solve the problem. Although you don't have to wait to be told what to do, you might be in a position of either seeing or anticipating a major change in your organization situation that's going to require a new plan or a major change to an existing plan, or it might be just an unexpected risk or opportunity, a virus, for example. These kind of things happen all the time. So that's how the initiation stage occurs. Once the initiation stage commences, there are a number of steps to take that are common every time. The first one is to take a moment, assess the situation, think about the tasks at hand. This is usually the case if you have been told what it is you need to do, or it might be clear from your assessment of the environment what needs to be done in general terms. And in this case, you're thinking about the end state. Earlier on, we talked about the old project management maxim, begin with the end in mind. So you're thinking about what success looks like, and that helps you to articulate where it is you need to take the organization. You need to assemble your team and get them ready. First thing you should do, if you aren't the team lead, you should assign a team lead. Some organizations have the benefit of having permanent planners on staff. Some don't. That decision is going to have to be made based on your own unique circumstances. Getting the team ready, and this is important, and sometimes this gets overlooked, involves giving your team members as much information as you can about what's going on. It may even include giving direction in writing, just so that everyone starts this process off with the same understanding of what's going on and where you need to go. I have seen situations where team leads take on all the responsibility for the problem solving themselves, and everyone else just sort of settles around and tries to make a space for themselves. This is your opportunity to get your team off the ground and oriented so they can be high performing and effective as quickly as possible. There may be a situation where there is more than one team. For example, maybe there's an emergency operations component, like an EOC, and a public affairs component. If you're going to require the support of some other teams in the organization who aren't intimately involved in the planning that you're doing, again, you need to communicate. Let them know as much as you can, as soon as you can, about what's going on. Doesn't need to be in detail, but it can be things like, all right, here's the situation as I know it. Here's what's happened. Here's what potentially has gone off the rails. Here's what I think you can do to help. And here's other information I know, like we're going to have a briefing in 6 hours, timings, etc. You start gathering planning tools and data. If you've got, if this is an emergency response, you probably got an emergency response plan that needs to be clarified or changed. There may be some other planning documentation that is good enough for you to start with, but requires more looking into. Considering the environment speaks to video 2 when we talked about assessing the environment. So this is going to start right away, and it will be concurrent with a lot of what's going on in the initiation phase. There is no textbook correct way to assemble your planning team. Different organizations will put their teams together in different ways, and that's fine. However you organize it, it's really worthwhile remembering that time is usually in short supply, especially if this is an unanticipated situation. That means either you as the lead planner or the person that you assign as the lead planner should be able to get the team together quickly and effectively. You may have to reach out to subject matter experts who have information that you're going to need for this specific problem. And very early on, and this is going to be a theme, or very, very early on, you need to sit the team down and communicate with them. In this particular case, everyone needs to understand the items in this bullet list. What's my job? Where do I fit in with what everyone else is doing? How much time have I got to do what I'm about to be doing? And how does that fit in with other timings that we need to work towards? If we're briefing the executive in 12 hours, maybe I need to get my role in this whole thing done in 6 hours so it can be assembled and we can rehearse it, and etc. and etc. and etc. What do I need to produce now? And a lot of this is going to be around the assessment of the environment part. What do I know about the situation, and what do I not know that I need to know immediately? So these are the kind of things you need to sit down with the team, make sure that everyone's clear on it. It helps to direct their work, and it helps to provide them with a common picture of what you're doing, so that if you're not around to give detailed instructions, they understand the situation enough so that they can continue on with the planning and the whole thing doesn't collapse or stall because you're not there to give detailed information. Once you've got the team together and you've given them all the information that you know, these are the kind of outputs from the initiation stage you should be considering. For everyone involved, and this is definitely intended for outside of the core planning team, as much of the situation as you can share. What is it that's going on? What do you know? Where you think the organization is going with this. So this could be a probable mission. Remember, we talked about begin with the end in mind. So what does success look like? Where are you trying to go? Even though you haven't done a detailed analysis, there might be some tasks that you understand are going to be done, regardless of what course of action you take. If you know about it, tell people as soon as possible. Key timings. When does the mission have to be accomplished? When do you have to have the plan done? When do you have to brief your organization's senior executive. These sort of things are probably some stuff that you can start laying out now, and it'll put some structure to the planning process. Never underestimate the importance of sustainment. Logistics and administration, if you don't get it right, that's gonna halt your progress faster than not having the most ideal operational plan. So if you can start sustainment planning now and logistical planning now, then do it. You should be identifying points of contact. If you've got numerous teams or more than one team, who's going to be the team lead, and have them exchange cell phone numbers or whatever so that they can communicate. Because the other key thing here is the communication aspect and sharing the information and making sure that everyone out there has the information they need to get the planning done. Specifically for the planning team, this is the time you start assessing the environment and taking a look at those factors and those aspects of the environment that you think may either help or hinder you in achieving your mission. You want to start a routine as soon as you can. Depending on the criticality of the problem and the size of your team, this could vary. It could be as simple as, all right, everyone, we're going to get together and do a conference call every day at 9 o'clock. You might get stuck in a room, not these days, but in the future, together to solve this problem. People need to understand when they've got time to do their own individual work and when they should be ready to brief the others on their progress. So that kind of rhythm in the routine is really, really important. And this is the time to reach out to partners. So if you're a municipality and you're planning for a disaster response, you need to reach out to first responders, fire, police, etc. There may be a requirement to have a liaison officer. These are the kind of decisions that you're going to make at this point. So if you can go through this list and you can either start this or get this list done, then you're pretty much in the position of having finished the initiation stage, and that will let you move on in the plan. With that in mind, the next video will be stage 2 of the operational planning process, the orientation stage. As always, if you've got any questions or feedback, please feel free to drop me a line at the email address here. Please also check out our website, www.yourally.ca. We've got a lot of good resources, both for individuals and companies to help get you through this stage of the COVID situation. And I'm looking forward to working on the next video. Take care and thanks for your time.